What's going on, guys? Um, so I got 11 acrylic signs I gotta get done. So today is a lot of masking, cutting, and then at the end or tomorrow, I will probably be doing the putting together and stuff like that because each one takes a minute to put together, and I'm trying to be as efficient as possible. I will probably lay them all out as if it's um, as if I'm gonna put them together, just so that I know I have all the pieces. The good thing is I don't. I forgot this over here because that's what I was putting together. But whoa, the audio is super loud. Maybe Shelby will tune in to tell me if the audio is too loud because it seems extremely loud. But we'll just keep adjusting it as we go. Once we get close to the machine, it's obviously going to get loud because that is running. Dang it. It just ticks me off when I run the blade straight down the side or the top of the acrylic. You don't get a good blade with this. It just does not want to cut well. I always get worried that I'm going to be cutting the wrong stuff or the wrong color. I'm trying to, I got the Muse 3D for now. Won't have it too much longer. But I found that if I clean my lenses and my mirrors every single time, it cuts way better. Especially wood because it's a very dirty substance when you engrave on it. So it cakes up a ton on the 1.5 inch lens, which is what I use for just about everything. But hopefully it's not going to be too much of an issue. The good thing is I don't have to mask all the sheets. Only the ones that have this on it, the not good mask on it, straight from manufacturer. There's two different kinds. There's a more paper one, and then there's more of a waxy material one. The waxy material one sucks. Obviously, having a small laser, you don't have much of a air compressor to really blow the gases away, so you get the fumes that will ignite, and then you'll get a burn mark basically on top of the acrylic. With a better air compressor, it's going to be able to blow um, that stuff away, those gases, so then you won't get the fumes and the gas flare-ups. I will say, I hate Spotify when it does the mix of genres. You can't go from hip hop to a country mix. If I can get the bumps out now, it makes it easier. Because obviously, the more bubbles you have, more of a chance of a flare up. Because obviously, fire and oxygen will pop. Good thing. If anyone pops in here, make sure you comment. Because it's very difficult to talk to yourself. And obviously, I don't do a ton of looking at the camera because I'm looking at what I'm doing to make sure I'm not screwing it up. Because every time I screw up, or if I do screw up, that costs me money. And the last thing I want to do is cost myself money. You know what I wanted to do today, but I didn't get a chance? I'm actually going to Colombia, South America. Um, some people, when you say Colombia, they don't know exactly where you're going, so I like to make sure that they know it's South America. But I want to look up videos about the city that we're going to, because my personal care doctor today said it was actually I wouldn't say scary place, but not as hunky-dory as it seems from the videos or from the Google Maps pictures and blah, blah, blah. Why did I cut that like that? I guess most people really don't care to see this. Let me adjust the camera, or since you can't really see what I'm doing. I add. Ouch. Let's try that. The biggest thing about this is making sure you're efficient. Now that my cut's done, unless I run right over there, I basically have a machine not working. And that's free labor, so I gotta make sure that's always going. I use the magnets to hold it down. To make sure it doesn't wiggle around and stuff like that. Ooh. The good thing about a good cut is it cuts right through. The bad thing is the transfer from over there to over here. You do obviously, in certain spots, have a little, I don't want to say an issue where it cuts through, but it's not perfect focused all the way around. So as long as you're getting a good cut everywhere, but like one or two tiny little spots where you might have an air bubble or something like that, you're generally good. And normally, this is the part that makes me the most mad, but you just gotta kind of run a blade over it. Make sure you don't have the issue. You're cutting a, I wouldn't say a thick adhesive, but a adhesive, so it can be tough to cut through, especially with a smaller smaller wattage laser. I mean, this is a 40 watt. I have a brand new laser tube right there because I thought mine went bad. It didn't. It was actually, I wouldn't say user error, but kind of. It was dirty. And when it's dirty, it doesn't cut through all the way, which that's why I'm going to take this arrow key right there. I'm actually going to take the cone off and look at it. It's not bad. You can see it's definitely sticky. But I'm going to clean that. Then I'm going to clean my lens. It looks pretty clean, but I'll stay on top of it more so that it's less work. I have these wipes that I'm using. They work alright. Not perfect by any means. I wish they were higher concentrate of alcohol so that it would really clean it. But it does alright. I got 90 ISO right next to me. So I'm able to use that when I need it. This if I turn that off, might be a little bit better. I don't know what I was saying. So now I'm going to clean the lens. This does pop out. So I just rub the backside because obviously the backside's where exhaust and fumes can go up in and get dirty. It looks pretty clean. The other spot that I clean, or I've started to clean regularly, is the actual lens of the laser tube. Mine, when I had to change out the, when I thought I had to change out the laser tube, it was actually just super dirty. So the more I clean it, less issues I'm having cutting, and I just wish there was a better way to do it. It doesn't look like it was dirty, but normally that's when I have the issues. So I gotta throw my magnets back in. I have magnets actually at the bottom of the honeycomb. I don't know if you know, you can't see it, but the materials here, I have two magnets holding the honeycomb up, so it's as tight as it can be up top. I've noticed that takes care of any off cutting that I get. Come on. Any off cutting I would get, it would be just off by hair, and that just makes it a whole lot easier. Now I am starting the next cut, which is a maroon. One of these days I'm going to get a screen share of, I wonder if I can just add it now. Browser. I don't know if it's gonna show that well because it's not very proportional. If that helps at all. I don't know. That doesn't really show much with 1200. That works a little bit better. Let's swap these. The camera we'll put in the top right corner if I can get it to move. If that's bulky and looks ugly, guys, let me know. But now I'm going to run maroon. Maroon you have to cut with the outside border just because that is your guideline. Although I don't like that. Let's make that centered. See, if I wouldn't have adjusted that, I would have, in all honesty, kind of been in a world of hurt because I would have had issues with the outside border, which is what I use to basically put the puzzle together. Right now I'm adjusting my settings, making sure they're all right, and they are. Okay, can run that. That bottom left view is actually the software that we use. It's internal or it's baked into um, basically my machine, so I don't have to be online, don't have to worry about any of that. There's definitely better software out there. Lightburn, for example, is what I want to go to, but that's only on certain machines. Full Spectrum doesn't offer Lightburn. I think they do it as you don't have to worry about getting other software, blah, blah, blah. It will always work. But my opinion is Full Spectrum's, my opinion about Full Spectrum's changed since I've had the machine. Um, I kind of got, I don't want to say screwed into this machine, but I purchased a Beambox Pro. For those of you who have seen, um, not knowing anything about a laser really hurt my thoughts upon or my thoughts about that machine. It probably would have been a good machine if I would have learned more about it. I think the biggest thing about any laser you get is your first one has to have the best community out there. That's when you can ask questions and people will walk you through things and blah 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 because um, they've already experienced it. Now, when you get a machine like Beambox Pro it didn't have a good community. There wasn't a lot of people in it. So I ran into issues where I would want to ask a question. The only support I had was tech support. And unfortunately, Chinese company, English was very broken. They don't actually have, I would say, any true support. Um, so, and the company I bought it from, which was not Beambox, was a Matter Hacker. They didn't know what was going on. The bed was all unlevel. It was a disaster. Design flaws majorly in the manufacturing of that machine. So then I got the Muse 3D. Um, it's a good laser for sure. Is it a good beginner laser? No. Um, I think, like I said, I think if you have a good community to jump into, get the biggest machine you can get and just ask questions. Start small. Don't try cutting half inch on your first cut. Don't try cutting quarters. Start with eighth. If you start with eighth inch wood, you're almost guaranteed to go through. Get those settings dialed in. Jump up to the next machine, or jump up to the next thickness. After that, jump into eighth inch or quarter inch. By the little steps up each time, you already have experience trying to do a million test cuts of the one, so it's just going to help at the end of the day. You're going to know, okay, these are my settings for quarter inch or eighth inch. Let me jump into quarter inch and I can start with those settings. So then you'll know, okay, it's not going to cut the same. Let's go up in power next. After you go up, what color? See, that would have been stupid of me. Then you can go up on your settings, and then it will be easier to troubleshoot. Plus, you can always post on a forum or on the Facebook group and ask questions about what people use for their settings for same style material. A laser community is probably the most important thing about a laser. That's why Glowforge is so popular. They make it easy to use, and the community is good. Plus, they have a very enticing creator program, so that's why you'll get creators that will do it because you get basically paid to sell their machine, which is good. I know a number of creators, not personally, but that they've paid for their machines 3, 4 times over just with that creator code. My next machine is going to be a Thunder. When I called and asked if they had a creator code, they said no. We want our sales to be about our machine quality, not about someone making money off us. Which I thought was cool, but the creator code is nice. But let's be real, if they would just cut that $500 off the top of the machine instead of giving you a creator code and having you save money that way, that's probably what I would prefer. Plus, if you look at it, the Glowforge is unreal how much money it is for what you get. Same with this machine that we have. It's way too expensive for everything you get from it. You're better off getting a smaller or a bigger machine, spending the more money up front because it's a better value. I should probably lay this one out so that I don't lose any pieces. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop these all out. get the border taped up, or at least I probably won't get it taped up. It's probably just one piece to hold it in there. This is where the frustration is. Either it's off by a teeny tiny bit, the lens, so it's not cutting through in certain spots. Mainly, it's not cutting through the adhesive on the back. The adhesive is goopy, sticky, thick material, so it doesn't cut through very well. It just doesn't have enough power to cut through those extra layered, thick adhesive spots. If you are in here, actually in here, and you want to say what's up, or if you have any questions, I'm open. Um, I'm only going to stream for probably an hour-ish. If you can hear me, that would be cool too if you would let me know. I don't have my normal mic set up from our live stream, so I'm using headphones. Oh. Oh. It's almost like I should probably just turn the current up one or two more notches. I do think the laser tube's going out on this one, but I just try to cut it that perfect setting every time where some cuts it cuts perfect, next cut it might not. Ouch. See, I need kind of need the room pretty bad. The rest of this stuff is kind of a pile of useless until I get it. But I can set up the next cut, which is going to be Eastern. So it's hard to get anything smaller than 12. That's probably the best size I can do. Oh, ADHD, get distracted and forget what you're doing. Eastern Michigan, here. Export that. I don't really want to pull it in while it's running, because I don't want something to happen. Sometimes that stuff's unpredictable. So 5 of these, this will be fine. Um, Thought I had a half sheet of powdered blue. I always keep my scraps that I can make sure I'm not wasting stuff. Kind of getting more bang for my buck. But it looks like I don't. I got sky blue. Or it's over in that pile and I just don't know which one. So, oh, if I would just pay attention, I would have grabbed it. I think my biggest gripe with this muse is how slow it is. I'm not cutting a very big design, and it takes a while. At the end of the day, these machines are time is money. The more you can pump out on the least amount of cuts or the least amount of time, the better you are. The better off you are. I think I've had a total of like 10 people, and not a single person said anything. I wouldn't want to say that's surprising because if you don't know anything about lasers, or you're not interested in one, you're not going to talk. The only person watching is that computer to the right of me. Ooh, snapped my finger. Um, yeah, that was a good cut. You definitely have some air bubbles or something somewhere that it didn't want to cut through, which is common, but that's when you just slowly pop it out. And it's normally the same spots, the very, very top of the bed. Just because the further you get away from that lens, the worse the focus is. But I'm going to turn this power and maybe speed down a little bit. But this is one of those things that just bother me. It cuts perfect almost everywhere. And then you have like a dozen spots where you just have to hit it with a blade. And it cuts right through. You're just cutting the paper on the adhesive. I have a big box right here of like this. That I won't keep. To me, that's a waste, just because of how it's not big enough to do anything specific. It's not none of that. All right, I'm gonna put this together to make sure I have all the pieces I need and don't have to cut anything extra. And this is the issue. I've been on for 40 minutes. I don't know if I started that first cut before, but it's definitely taking me longer than it should just to get this one cut done. But I guess that's the cost of. I just got really nervous because I thought that was the wrong color that I cut. Would have been funny, but I also would have been so pissed. But this is the part where you just piece it together like a little puzzle. I got my reference right here. I think it would be cool one day if I can stream enough, get big enough, blah, 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 to get a laser given to me by a company so then I could donate it to my local high school. They kind of have, they don't do normal school, I guess. They do normal school, but they do more focused learning. So you're not learning a whole bunch of garbage that you will never use in your life, which is cool in my opinion because I look back and I'm like, I never in my life have used algebra. Um, Unfortunately, technology gets better, so does calculators. So you can look up anything you need. It's good to know on the fly sometimes, but if I need to know something that complex, I probably don't need to know it right now. Getting these designs perfect is, I wouldn't say the hard part, but I don't know even know how I got into them. It was me just slowly starting to mess with certain designs that I wanted. Once I did that, then I was like, oh, okay, this is easy. Let me try um, local sports teams. See if I can get one of those to work. And the more you mess with it, I mean, the more you kind of nail it. I saw yesterday someone posted in a forum that they were asked to recreate a sign for a local company. And they said, well, I don't know if I can do it. So I piped up and said, no, this is what I would do. This is kind of how easy it would be. It's not tough. Um, Hi, how are you? If you have any questions, go ahead and ask. I'm just talking to myself at this point and listening to music, but that you guys can't hear. I'm making sure before I cut my next one that this one is perfect, so I don't have to recut anything before I delete it. Because the worst is when you delete it and then you forget the dimensions. Right there. Mm-hmm. The good thing is most of the designs are all kind of the same size. Um, I always go with the biggest I can make, which is 11 and a half, and then whatever the proportional is, because then, I mean, I'm not saving any money by having a smaller design realistically, because you still have to buy a full sheet. Interesting. I thought that was. Oh no, it wasn't. Design's not perfect. I just noticed, but it's not a big deal. I like to incorporate to make sure that everything is pretty easy by just doing that outline. But I'm gonna fix the design real quick so that next time I don't have an issue. It would be fine either way. I might leave it. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it. My fear is just that when you do certain things to the design and you get a weak point, it's gonna break, and then the people are gonna be upset. Which at the end of the day, you should obviously be gentle with this stuff. Don't touch it a ton. It's very fingerprint prone. Um, so I guess that's technically on them, but I just also don't want to see someone upset because they expected one thing and got something different. Um, I'm missing one right there, still in the stencil, as I like to call it. And then I need an eyebrow. Now I would be very upset if I dropped this, but that's basically it. I will peel the masking off this back layer, then stick down the top layer just like this. I'll already have all the pieces in the right spot, and then it's done. So I'm going to set that off to the side. I want to get as many cut. Let me just double check. That's gray, that's gray, that's white, that's white, 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 maroon, 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 maroon. Yeah, that one's done. So, put stuff in my scrap bin. I already got everything back for my next one. So I'm gonna go into the software, go here, let's delete that. Cool, that doesn't impact it. But I'm gonna file export the PDF. rid of that. Zoom out. Get my design. I always go with the lower number at 11.5. When you do that, it kind of gives you the biggest design that we can do. And then I always move my oh, that doesn't stay up to date. Let's see if it will. Ungroup background white. Why is that doing that? See, this is what bothers me. It's their software, so it stinks. Da, 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 da. Then I'm just going to turn that screen layer off, browser. I don't know why it's not working. I must not update as it goes. Okay, that's the background. Background can be fine at the same cut. Same with the odd path to the right. Maybe if I put a sheet in there, it would make more sense. Maroon is a very, very dirty color to cut. So I know when I wipe this lens down or wipe this bottom off, it's going to be dirty. This is probably one I probably should take it off. Really give her a good clean. I mean, you can see it just like that. It's hard to get a perfect clean, but that's why it would be nice if I had higher alcohol. These are glass cleaners. If I use rubbing alcohol, it cleans it much better. The front of that's dirty. Obviously, I missed the spot cleaner the other day. See how gunky that can get. I had paper towel down here. Oh, you kind of want to clean all the machine as much as you can, as often as you can. A good spot over here so you can see your laser beam coming through. You don't want any of this gunk on here. But it's so hard to clean because it's so intricate. But if you clean a little window, you'll be able to see the lens. I mean, look at that. I've never cleaned the tube, which I should. If you look at that fan just needs to be pulled off completely. That's once Christmas brush is done. Let's take a picture, make sure everything's aligned correctly. I'll probably cut this one and then sign out because I've been talking to myself for an hour. I'm sure I got some text messages I could answer. Um, See how that laser tube or that laser beam is not perfect? It almost looks like it's clipping. That's just because it's, to me, so out of focus. Um, because it's so high up. Uh, Perfect focus, it's basically a drop dime laser on. Okay, make sure everything's good. Got my magnets in, they're not in the way. And I am good to start that one. Now I'm starting the next one. Again, I don't have to mask the very back. The frost is that waxy material, but I don't have to do that because it's not, I won't have any issues of it burning on that and people seeing it. It's only the top layers that I'm worried about. I guess I should give myself a thumbs up on the computer. This is a lot more fun. I think more people, in all honesty, tune in when Shelby's here because no one wants to see my mug when we're doing this stuff. This is going to be the adhesive side. Adhesive because it's stretched. Uh, I guess I could have asked one person if they wanted to join the stream. I met a gentleman the other day on a forum. He's basically in the same boat as me, um, coming from a Muse, going to a Thunder, and he had a whole bunch of questions on how to make the acrylic signs. He was actually offering to buy one from me, and I said, absolutely not. You are a maker as well. People have helped me, so I'll just teach you how to make them. Odds are our clientele will never cross paths, and he's another person I'll be able to direct people to if I can't do it. Maybe he knows more, maybe he can do certain things I can't. Um, it all goes back to that laser community being good, working with people, learning things together. This isn't a cricket market. You can't buy a vinyl cutter and jump in and start making stuff. you're really purchasing something expensive. Most people aren't willing to purchase a $7,000 to $15,000 machine. See, I like that. When it cuts straight through. If it was only that easy all the time. Clear. But yes, most people aren't just jumping into this hobby. You get people that do, but sometimes they get overwhelmed. And you don't want to get overwhelmed with a $15,000 or $7,000 machine, um, or at least in my eyes, you don't want to. You want it to be find your love here. Thank you so much. Goodbye. Oh, I'm not a moderator on my own channel. Bye bye. Oh, now I'm going to throw the green in. You also get with different acrylic manufacturers that it might not be exactly 3 millimeters. It could be off a little bit. When it's off, that throws off everything, throws off your cut, throws it all off. See, this one has the paper mask. You don't have to change that. It doesn't. Um, it doesn't flare up. So I'm gonna run it just the way it is with the paper, but I do have to put the adhesive on the back. Oh, I can hear myself. That's where that sound's coming from. Hello. Let's see if it's too loud. No, that sounds fine. Turn that volume down, turn this back up. So now I am throwing the adhesive on this one. I'm a couple ahead where I am putting an adhesive and mask on the other stuff that I have to cut one full logo away, which is good. That means I'm kind of moving, I wouldn't say moving quick, but I'm moving faster. That is green, so I'll cut that. That I'm going to move down to 33, 75, 75. I don't think it's a issue of the um, power settings. I honestly think it's an issue of it's just slightly out of focus at the top or the bottom of the bed. Oh. And like I said, when it's out of focus, it doesn't cut perfect. But then I'll spend way too much time trying to get it to cut perfect. And when you want something to cut right the first time, so you don't gotta fiddly frick around with it. This is 3M 467 MP. My opinion for acrylic, it works the best. Um, Now, if I was doing a bunch of wood, I would go with a thicker mill adhesive because wood's more porous. You're going to get pockets or grains that will be slightly off. So I think that the thicker the mill or thicker the adhesive is, you're not going to get as much of an off layer, essentially. And I'm no professional. I have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. I just know what I've experienced, that the wood works better with the thicker stuff. It is way, way stickier. This stuff I can peel off when I use adhesive or when I stick it on back of acrylic or maybe misplace something in the wrong spot. That stuff, it's permanent. I might as well just throw away the whole sign if I screw up. This one is a Huron's logo someone asked for. Um, Old school logo for Eastern Michigan. I think that's why people like it, is because um, certain people like the old school logos versus the newer stuff, especially if you were from that era. This next one I'm doing has yellow. This is a scrap piece, already masked off, don't have to do it. I need white for that one, which I have, black, and yellow, and then the background. That one's done. I have one that I have to still design for someone. That one needed yellow too. Oh no, it didn't. It needed blue. But I'm not going to do that one today. That one's on the list. Has to be done by the 15th. That will be done this weekend, more than likely, after or before work. The next ones are all Etsy orders. I have 5 Etsy orders that are a little behind. I can cut yellow. I can cut powdered blue. Powdered blue. I need to put adhesive on these for the Manchester. The Manchester ones, these are only, I should be able to get all 5 of the red cuts done on this one sheet. It's a teeny tiny little cut for each one. Powdered blue, same thing. Get all 5 cuts on there. Yellow, I might have to do a full sheet plus this, and everything will go on it. I've seen my buddy that is local, Sunset Laser. He's been doing this for 3 years now, so he's got more experience. He made a acrylic sign the other day that was not multi-layered, and he painted it. My opinion, and I'm not a professional, I don't want to have to paint. I like this because it's not messy. The hardest part about it is making sure the machine does its job. The minute you start adding paint, then you got to make sure the coats are even, and obviously the more expensive paint you get, the better the apply is going to be, but the shitty stuff doesn't really apply very well. Next year, I did learn some things that I will be stocking up on the non-popular colors that other companies carry. I go through CMS acrylics. I think that they have the best shipping, the best everything. I've never had an issue with customer support. I do think it's weird that they have a at Yahoo email, but That's just saving money with website domains. Um, but they always take care of me. I've had issues where they've had manufactured sheets that were screwed up. They would never know because the mask is on it, and it was actually under the mask. So I'd send them photos, and it was not a critical color that I needed. So I would just tell them, hey, just give me a coupon code. I'll put it towards my my next order. Red. I don't think I'll need this one, so I'm going to put this one back. If I need it, then I'll just grab it. Oh, that goes on the bottom. This is my new laser tube. It's always good to have one on hand. It's from Cloud Ray. I've heard that they make a world of difference. They're actually manufactured and made to output the actual 40, 35 watts, 45 watts when you do them or when you get them. Whereas some of these Chinese ones, the quality control isn't um, as much of an issue. So now I have to lay out all the colors I need. Frost background, don't need to worry about that. Blue, blue, white, clear background. I had to order another $100 today, $150 of acrylic. The goal is to buy full sheets of everything I need and have it in the basement. With the big machine, I'm going to be able to put it where that other machine is, and then I'll have a pass through. I'll walk up, load a full sheet in, and then I'll be able to cut it down to size of whatever I need. This is 5 of the same exact cuts. They will all be the same size, so that will be easy. I don't have to mask any of those. But I have 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. I think I can mask. 1, 2, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. 15 sheets I have to mask off. So I hate masking. I wish it was cheaper, or I wish I had a machine that did it. When I get the bigger machine, maybe I'll be able to get a roller that will roll on adhesive pretty easily. But that's more of a dream. I need the bigger machine first, and then before I get that, I need to pay off the bigger machine, and I think next year I'll be able to pay off the big machine fairly easily. This machine was, we did pretty well with it this year. First year owning. Um, Myself, I see it as it's making itself back. By next year, if we had the same exact machine, we probably will have covered this machine 2 times over. Um, because I'll have more experience, be able to do more things, stuff like that. Here's the green. That one just finished. Let me finish masking this. I'll pull that up. And I'm going to throw the white in. I really like the 2 color cuts. Only because they're much quicker. With this new machine, the most intriguing thing to me is that I will be able to put in, say it's a 4 color design, I'll be able to put in all 4 colors at once, and it will cut all of them. Obviously, I'll have to put the different designs in different spots so it matches whatever colors in that spot. But it will be a world of much quicker things. Still got to work out the kinks on it because I don't have the machine. Make sure I have magnets holding each sheet down so it doesn't slide. Um, I might even consider going to pins on that machine where you basically put a pin into the honeycomb. See, that one cut better with the higher power. It doesn't look like anything, but it has a lot of burn marks on the back. Which is from the honeycomb. It will catch that. It will flare up real quick. I don't know what they call it on the form. It's like a back flame or a specific name for it, but it's doing exactly that. Where if I can get it to hold, you can see the little burn marks. That could be bubbles in the adhesive, stuff like that. Now I'm going to start the white. The white's a little bit longer of a cut, but not much. This one also, I am going to up it 33 speed, 75, 75. I'm gonna have to watch this back to find out if the audio is better with it, with headphones, or with the mic. I personally like the mic, but then again, it is nice being able to listen to music when no one's in here, so it's not super awkward standing here talking to myself. Now I just hear music when I talk, and no one's judging me, even though no one is. But I will say though, this laser, probably my best purchase I've ever made. Happiest I've ever been. We did the whole t-shirt thing with vinyl cutters and blah blah blah. We grew that company actually more than I like looking back. The expensive equipment we were buying and stuff like that. We plus like our Etsy sales. Our Etsy sales in 3 or 4 years was um, they were $10,000. So we've done good, and we had like 225 sales, but the profitability just wasn't there. You were wasting your time because you were making nickels on the shirt that you were selling because um, to actually make money with t-shirts, you got to produce a lot. Um, when you aren't producing a lot, you're not going to make money. Cost is too high. Um, I'm going to just look at our Etsy sales so far. Oh, doesn't have a full year's broke down yet. Got my stats. Let's go this year. So on 19 orders, um, we've made $1,420. Obviously, this is all through, and I've made 780 of it on one side. John, I'm sorry. I have to call you back. Um, which is cool, and it's cool to see. I think there's certain other signs I would sell more of, but we got to worry about copyright and blah blah blah. Um, but yeah, it's pretty cool. And if that's within, I mean, at the end of the day, if you think about it, we sold $1,400 worth on Etsy, and I would say almost all of them um, have been one sign, and it I lost train of thought. Oh, comparing to Etsy or to our T-shirt company, that's only a 19 orders. So when you compare it to our T-shirt order, where we had 220 orders, um, we're dwarfing that. It's incredible to see the difference in how much we've made now. I will say I've been going for about an hour and a half, hour and 20 minutes. If I don't get anyone soon or any chat, I'll probably sign off just because I can only hear myself talk for so long. I will say I don't like TC laser materials as well, or as much as CMS. CMS cuts it with their laser machine. TC cuts it with a skill saw. You can, or a band saw, or some sort of saw, because around all the edges, you can see it's all chipped up and it looks like shit. If I needed to use it for a straight edge, I could not. When I stack these, I'm going to stack these all by color. So when I'm getting ready to start cutting them, they are done by the color so I don't screw that up. My biggest issue is I get distracted, I get working too quick, or once I get irritable and I get tired of doing this, then I don't focus as much. And that's when all my accidents always happen. I'll throw in the wrong color, something. It's a matter of time before something happens on any of those days. Right now, I feel I'm in a good mojo, kind of busting through this. If I can get everything masked tonight, then I'll be happy. It will give me, obviously, we're all humans. So I want to be able to get off this live stream, finish up a couple more cuts as I'm masking. As long as I'm masking, or as long as the machine's cutting, I'll mask. Once I'm done masking, then I'll probably sit down and watch TV or something like that. Guys, if you're just tuning in and you have any questions, go ahead and ask. I've been standing here talking to myself for um, 4 hours. I wouldn't say 4 hours. I would say an hour and a half, 82 minutes. Been running the machine since about noon. Say closer to 1. Had to do a design for someone, send out a mock-up. And then after that, I jumped right into cutting. Um, I got two designs almost 100% cut, which is not great, but that's strictly because how slow the machine is. Um, like I said, the next goal is going to be the Thunder. The Thunder is going to be way quicker of a machine, so it's going to be a lot quicker, a lot more worth my time. I got five of the same Etsy orders. What sucks is my person CMS acrylic. He screwed up. This is a dark blue. It is not a navy. I think it will still work for what I am doing. Hopefully the people are not upset. I don't think there's much of a difference, but who knows. Next year, though, I will make sure I have enough stuff on hand because um, not knowing what I was going to run into and not knowing that I was going to get 13 orders in a matter of a couple weeks or 2 weeks kind of hurt. And in that 2 week span, I didn't know what material I had at home, so I wasn't checking because I was on vacation. And then I come home and then find out that navy acrylic is completely out of stock, so I had to find a supplement. I could have got a navy from Houston Acrylics, but it was like way too expensive. It was $16 a sheet. It was true navy, but it was matte on one side, gloss on the other, which is why the price was high. And I couldn't justify almost making $10 less in profit to be able to put out something that's still not going to be perfect. I did message everyone and tell them I'm working on trying to find a navy. This was the best that we could come up with. If they're not happy, I'll refund them something, maybe. Um, but there's nothing I can do. They all want it before Christmas, um, which I understand because Christmas is right around the corner. Me not knowing what sort of Christmas rush I was going to get kind of hurt, but next year I'll be more prepared. This is probably never going to be I can't imagine it will be a full-time gig. If it is, that means Shelby's helping a lot more. Not saying that she doesn't help, but for us to make real money for me to quit my job, we both have to put in some effort. She needs to put in the part-time effort that I'm putting in now, and I just put in full-time all day. Everyone says, yeah, I want to work for myself. Well, I know when I go to my job now, I'm working 40 hours a week. I've always heard when you work for yourself, you're working a lot more than 40 hours a week sometimes. See, this sheet is a little scratched up. It kind of doesn't make me happy. It really doesn't make me happy because acrylic scratch is pretty easy. Fingerprints are impossible to clean off it. I haven't come across a spray that really cleans acrylic, and I haven't come across a fiber cloth that doesn't damage the acrylic. I've tried a couple different things with no luck. I bought microfiber cloth. That kind of worried me because I made something for someone a couple weeks ago. It was black acrylic was the background, and I was trying to clean it up, and then I realized, holy crap, I scratched the hell out of this. And I actually had to recut a second acrylic sign for him. I didn't give it to him, obviously. I don't want to give garbage. But I had to recut the whole thing, so it cost me money, but I'd rather get my name out there as doing the right thing than garbage. For the most part, there's certain things I can't control. I did a Arsenal soccer or football sign, whatever you call it, and I told them I can't match the brown perfect, but this is what I came up with. Sent them all the pictures, and they seemed happy. So at the end of the day, as long as the customer's happy with it, I think you're fine. So again, I need to clean this off, make sure that the cone is clean. It's a nice cut, obviously, because everything's falling out. But also, transportation sucks. Having to move it all the way over here and not lose something can be tough. I always keep my acrylic. Since you guys are just joining, I don't keep this stuff. I put it in a bin for recycling, or a box or something, bag. Not that I'm all environmentally super crazy, but I'd rather get it melted down and someone use it for a new sheet of acrylic or properly be disposed of. Now I got that one cut. I have to throw the next sheet in, but it's going to be a completely different design, so I got to export the PDF. Let me clear out of these, go into my files. A lot of these things that I designed or got the design for, since we had the t-shirt company prior to, what am I looking for? It was a football helmet. Since I had the design before, it was easy just to import what we had since I had the baseline. And since I've been using Corel Draw for a number of years now, I wouldn't say it's second nature because there's still a lot of stuff to learn or a lot of stuff I don't know. But it definitely helps a lot that I have a baseline knowledge of it. So then I will kill that. I probably should have waited until I knew I had everything cut perfect. But I use basically the same size every time. So it's not that big of a deal. This one, the cage of the football helmet is down in the corner. So this is basically a full actual sheet of acrylic. Because nothing from this I'll be able to save, so I'm just going to turn off the cut layer. When I'm putting the stuff in, I like to label it with the color it's going to be. I would say that, what color is that? That the football helmet's probably one of my favorite designs. Just because it comes out pretty sweet. It's pretty big. So now I'm going to start that one. Like I said, cut the background first. Put magnets in all my corners. Like I said before, I do have magnets at the bottom right here, pushing my honeycomb to the top. I was having issues before of it wiggling at some point, even if it was off by a couple millimeters, it would throw the cut off, so it wouldn't be perfect entry and exit. But now with that, it works a million times better. I wish I didn't close out of that one so I could have saw the picture. So when I'm putting it back together, I'm putting it back together right. That one does not belong. This one is the one I need. This is probably, in all honesty, my favorite part. Putting it together because it's like a puzzle. Um, and you actually see it come together. Earlier in the stream, I said I'm putting this stuff together, but not adhering it down today. I want to make sure that I can get the most bang for my buck, so I'm getting as much cut as I can. I do always get this weird spot on this Huron's logo, and I don't know why. I don't know if the kerf is off or something. There's not many settings that you can screw up on this machine. Now that I hold this stuff down with all these magnets, it's a lot nicer because you get less issues of it popping off and it not fitting. I personally like the 1.5 inch lens more than I like the 2 inch lens. Maybe it's just a placebo, but it feels like you get a better cut. And by better cut, I mean when you cut this stuff, you get a gap in between each layer that you're cutting. That is called a kerf. When the kerf is off, you're going to have a bigger gap where these letters will move a lot in between. You can actually see through it. The bigger the tube, the bigger the beam, which means the bigger the kerf, which means you can see the background of the stuff. I don't think it looks bad because it's almost impossible to actually see it. But I'm kind of specific about things that I do. So I want to make sure it comes out good. I'll literally, that's why I'm kind of behind on orders, is I'll cut the same thing, or not the same thing, I'll cut it, it won't cut through, so then I'll do a complete test. And by test, I mean I'm sitting there cutting a square over and over and over on a piece of acrylic until it gets the perfect cut. So then I know, okay, these are the settings I need to use. There's the eye. And that one's done. Once I actually adhere it, it will be done. I think it came out good or comes out good. And it's actually kind of a popular design. Like I said earlier, people like the old school design. And I don't think they make any cool designs or any of the cool old school designs anymore. Alright, now I can import the new file. Which is already in there. My bottom corner magnet is in the way. I'm going to move that up there. That should be good. But to confirm, I'm going to take a new picture. Wow. I was talking to myself and the mouth gets dry. Refresh. Maybe there's not actually 3 people watching. I know I'm one of them, so. I don't know why I have so much better internet at my house than my old man's, but I never drop video or frames or anything like that. Or if I do, oh, yeah, one person dropped out. Oh, back. Okay, so now I'm going to start this one. I can actually move it back. I've always found that the further to the right uh, that I'm cutting on my machine, which it should be the opposite, the better of a cut I get. All right. I'd say the only thing that is expensive doing this, cost wise, acrylic's not terrible. Obviously, you can always get the price down by buying full 4x8 sheets. Um, I mean, there's a number of ways to get your cost down. But the most expensive thing, which still isn't that expensive, but you go through a lot, is this adhesive. Um, that's when it's depending on the website you get it from. That's a strong purple color beam. Since I cleaned that tube. Um, this is $220 to $320 per roll. It is very expensive, but having to do all these small intricate parts um, and then glue them down would be insane to me. I wouldn't. This wouldn't be enjoyable. Um, but because I don't have to do that, it makes it easy. At the end of the day, the reason I went with this instead of continuing the laser or continuing the t-shirt company was strictly because of this is automated. I put it in, I cut it. A vinyl cutter is automated, but guess what? Then you have to weed it. Then you have to do all that stuff, and then you have to align it when you put it together. This is you put it together like a puzzle, and it's done. You don't have to fiddly frick around with it. It's just it's easy. I personally like the acrylic the most. Um, Shelby likes the wood more, but I'm an acrylic guy. My opinion is it lasts longer. It in a sense is UV protectant. And I've looked that up, so I'm not just shooting out random things. See, look how big that football helmet is. This machine's perfect for small bar room, dorm room art, because you don't want a 5 foot sign. I want to make 5 foot signs because I think that will be the bee's knees. It will be cool. But at that point, you're doing it for businesses. Um, the ultimate goal is I want to get acrylic ordered and then order a massive sheet of the colors I need to make a Charlie the Plumber sign, because that'd be paste that bad boy right up on the pole barn. That would be cool. Oh, so now I'm gonna throw the black in. This is a longer cut just because of how big it is, how intricate. But I only had to mask the one side because the manufacturer put a good sheet on this one. I'm hoping eventually they'll go all to this style. But that's on the manufacturer, not on the people I order it from. I emailed and asked, like, hey, are you guys switching masks? It would be nice because I'm getting flare ups. They basically responded, no, that's on the manufacturer, but we suggest getting a bigger air compressor or air pump, the bigger the pump, the more it's going to blow that gas away and the less flare-ups you're going to get. Which I agree with, but this is scratched under too. The outside mask is perfect, but that's a big one. PC Acrylics is not making me happy today. That's another wholesaler I buy my stuff from. Guys, if you have any questions, I am open to answer anything. This one, see, I could save part of this black, but it's probably, you can barely see that, but I would save like that much of it, probably 3 inches. It's really not worth 3 inches. I have a big pile of a whole bunch of 3 inch pieces of acrylic. This one I have to cut the outside border and the black, so that it makes a good puzzle. So everything's aligned perfect. And thank God I noticed that. So this one came off. You got to be careful when you have to cut both the outside edge and the color, that you're not moving anything, because then you have to back it up and say, okay, this needs to go back until it's back to normal alignment. Oh, okay. Pieces on that side, and I'm going to throw my mask on. These rolls are cheap, um, really cheap. They're only $23 for 100 feet, and that's because I haven't bought the 300 footer yet. I should, but last time I ran out, I needed something quick, and this was going to be here overnight versus the other one was going to be 3 or 4 days. That's the best part about Amazon Prime and it being local to my house. At the big old Amazon warehouse, I can get stuff delivered, and I could order at 7 p.m. As long as they have it at the warehouse, I'll get it by 4 a.m. But it's just, I would say I'm surprised Shelby hasn't either popped into the live stream or come downstairs, but she also doesn't feel very good. She has, I think, a flu. She's been in bed for about 2 days. Kind of scolded her this morning because she wasn't drinking water, but hopefully I can get her on a live stream in probably next week. Why is my screen flashing? Ooh. Probably autofocusing or something. This one that we're cutting is a large Michigan Tech football helmet. Um, like I said, I've done the football helmet before. I think it's one of the cooler ones because you can get, there's people that will put lights behind them and stuff like that. I'm not to that point yet. But eventually my goal is to be to that point. I want to be able to do things that others can't and basically produce the cool signs. With a big machine, when we get it, I want to get the Thunder. It'll be 51 inches wide. I'll be able to do. When I get that, I want to start buying whiskey barrels. And this is just kind of what I envision. Buy whiskey barrel lids, and then I'll be able to engrave, like if you have a home bar or a basement bar or something like that, um, like the Smith family basement bar or some sort of cool logo on it, and it's gonna have that old rustic look because it's a whiskey barrel. Um, One problem is, oh dang it, my knife is all the way over there. Um, Cool thing is, it's gonna be an actual whiskey barrel, hopefully, or lid. I had someone call today asking if I could cut a template for their vinyl flooring. I told the gentleman, which he didn't know, um, I can only do 11 and a half um, by 20. And he said, oh, perfect. I only have to do 7 foot by whatever his dimensions were. And I said, no, 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 no. I can only do 11 and a half inches. Um, he basically said after that, oh, cool. That's awesome that you started your own business. Keep up the good work. And do you know anyone? I don't know enough people local yet that have machines or have big enough machines. This kind of sucks. Um, but I don't know enough people that have machines local that can do basically any laser stuff. Plus, I always get a little worried about different materials produce different toxins. You're not supposed to cut PVC. I think if you have great ventilation and you cut it once or twice, it's not an issue. Um, God, all this stuff is stress stuff. Um, so yeah, it's kind of hard to say. Yeah, I can cut X, but then you find out that it's toxic and could kill you. Makes you not want to cut things outside the realm of what people have already done. Plus, it's not like I'm doing this out of a shop. If I was doing it out of a shop, I could have the good ventilation. The shop that you're looking at is my basement. Going upstairs to my wood floors, which obviously it's an old house. Anything if I don't got great ventilation, it would be all in my house. So, oh, I only have, I've done 4 sheets, so I have 11 more. This is the worst part. The masking takes forever. But like, I just don't understand it. Um, the manufacturer makes a better mask. I just don't know if they're in the process of switching over or what. When me and Shelby are working on this together, as you can see, the reason this takes forever is the machine. It's strictly because the machine takes forever to cut something that should be easy. So the goal when we go to a bigger machine is to put all colors in at once and then be able to cut them out once. So then instead of having to take them all out, put all new ones in, I'll probably have a bigger generator, not generator, air compressor by then, where I don't have to worry about the mask. But once we get to that point, this whole process will be easier. When Shelby is doing signs while I'm cutting them, it's pretty quick. Um, we're doing probably 2 signs an hour. It's probably depending on how complicated the sign is or how long the cut is. So now, if it takes 30 minutes to cut all colors, we should be able to get through when we're cruising 3, maybe 3 signs an hour. If we have some long ones, some not. Guys, if you have any questions, I'm open to answering what I know. I'm not a professional, but I've covered kind of a lot of things as I'm talking to myself for the last couple hours, 2 hours almost. The the hardest thing about getting into the laser business, in all honesty, is the research. I'm the type that like when we were looking at our very first laser, the Beambox Pro, before we sent that one back. I spent a couple months looking. Then I wouldn't say I fell out of interest. I was just tired of looking and not finding any good information. Um, and then I got back on it, started looking again. Was close to buying a Glowforge. Didn't even come across a full spectrum at the time. Um, and then ended up buying the Beambox because it was 50 watt. Got it, hated it. And then Matter Hacker, which I will probably never purchase from again. They have rules and stuff, obviously, that they have followed, but I was going to lose almost $1,500 to $2,000 by returning my other machine and just taking my money back because of the restocking fee. Um, Understandable in a sense, but I don't know, that it rubs me the wrong way. So I'll probably never buy from them again. But then I found the Muse, was amused by it. Haha, haha. Um, but if I would have done it all over again, very beginning, started research, I think At that point, Thunder was not, people weren't creating content on it. Um, so it was harder to find information. I would have spent the extra money off the bat and just bought the Thunder. Um, to me, you're better off buying more of a professional grade for $2,000 more, $3,000 more, which is a lot of money. It's not easy to come up with $2,000. Um, but if you can get that bigger machine, it will be a breeze. You'll buy it once, where for us, we now have to buy a machine. This isn't big enough. We want something faster. Um, we're not a manufacturing. We're not busting these signs out every single day, but it's going to be faster for us. Um, and that's one of the things that people don't necessarily talk about online. It's hard to find the information. When you find the information, then you second guess yourself because you don't know if they're bullshitting or if they're not. Um, it's tough. And for Shelby and I, this was a risk. Um, we refinanced our house when markets got good a couple years ago. We had some money that we were going to remodel. I had the wise idea of let's buy a laser instead. We'll make money, which we are. I would say we're almost profitable. Um, but we had that money. We took a big risk. For us, it was a lot of money, and it it sucks because now you look back and say, I could have saved that extra $1,000 real quick, or I could have financed the last little bit. Um, but you live and you learn. That's why I'm in these forums because I've experienced it. So I try to tell people like, hey, get the bigger machine. Start out with the bigger machine. Don't get the Glowforge. Don't get the Muse. Don't get these quote unquote hobby lasers. Because when you're getting the hobby lasers, that's what you're getting. You're getting a machine that cannot produce things fast. It's a hobby. When it's a hobby, you don't worry about the time that it takes to do something. But when you're trying to pump this stuff out, sell it to people, it's hard to do that. Okay. I got 10 more sheets to do. Once these 10 sheets are done, I'll probably sign off. It'll be like half hour, but at that point, I'll probably stop cutting. I guess I shouldn't because more people want to see the cutting than they want to see me standing here masking things. Ooh. So I'm not afraid of it going up in flames. But when it flames up like it just did, um, it damages the acrylic, which means the cut is, in my opinion, no good. It flames up, it melts the acrylic on the top. And in all honesty, that's because of how, excuse my language, but how shitty the pump is. The air pump is not good. It's too small for what it's trying to do. There's other ways which I'm looking into already of how to upgrade this pump. Um, the I don't want to say the good thing. What's going on, Eric? It's just me. Shelby doesn't feel good. Um, but the good thing about this, hopefully, I mean, I haven't watched the full cut. Maybe it's done it a bunch of times and that whole sheet's garbage. But it was in the center of the logo of the helmet. And as long as it didn't damage the outside, I can recut that small piece and not have an issue. This pisses me off. You're trying to peel it, and it just keeps shearing, shredding, and it's impossible to get a good rip across because this mask is garbage that they put on. She's been off since, what day? She had yesterday off and today off. Um, Yesterday, I don't think she got out of bed. I finally got home at 1 o'clock because it was an early shift and said, hey, God dang it. She got out of work. She basically slept all day. Um, See that? I gotta change that mask now too. I've never had an issue with that mask. The black always comes with a good mask on it. But obviously it must get to a point where there's a kink in the line or it stops pumping good. My goal is I'm just gonna have a California air compressor down here. Um, that's gonna be piped in. So when I can, it will have a solenoid so it will automatically start when it needs to and automatically turn off when it needs to. See, when it flares up, it doesn't even get that charring on it. Normally you get a char on it. Maybe this mask is thick enough where it doesn't impact it, per se. Hopefully. I don't want to have to... The bigger the cut is, the longer it takes, and it sucks having to redo it. So that layer, the one I just laid down, is basically the puzzle, the outline. Um, and that's when you can start piecing the things in there to see what goes where, make sure it's mapped out correctly. The problem with those flare-ups is it damages it, obviously. But until you map it out, lay it down, peel off the top mask, you don't see any of it. So I won't know if I have to recut anything, which isn't bad because realistically, black is easy. I have a ton of spare and nothing on here other than the outside is there's a lot of. Yeah, notice when I do these, there's certain adjustments I'll make to the design because it's like, I don't want to have to deal with cutting that small piece or blah, blah, blah. But then you don't save it on the file and then it just recuts the same way that you cut before. Ticks you off a little bit. Come on. So that's how big the helmet is. Which, like I said before, this is one of my favorite cuts that we do. But it is a lot more work to lay it out and look at it and make sure you have all the stuff because there's a lot of pieces to it. I still have, I'm doing all this stuff today, obviously, but I have, this will be three of my signs. I have um, eight more, all of the same thing, so that one shouldn't be hard. I'll cut them multiple at once in multiple swings. And then probably, I have one for my high school, which is cool to get that call. Hey, or they actually reached out to me on Facebook. Oh no, I didn't ask this side. What happens when you get working faster than your brain can process things? Um, but yeah, they reached out on my Facebook page. It was a teacher I had. I would be extremely surprised if if he remembered me. Um, he teaches a law class or classes in the law area. Our high school is divided into three different sections, basically construction, um, or maybe four, technology. Um, then they have like law enforcement and EMT stuff, and then one other section. I think IT is a little bit. Um, and then they they have all these cool programs and stuff. So the law teacher reached out. He wanted me to make a Romeo High School courtroom sign, um, which is cool because then it's going to be. He basically told me they're ordering stuff for a courtroom. They want it to be. This is going to be like the centerpiece. So I did the design, sent him a whole bunch of mock-ups and stuff. He's going with an acrylic sign, so it'll be multicolored. In my opinion, it will come out the best. It's not traditional court. I would have liked to do like a badass um, brass sign. It would have been tough to do. I don't know if I would have even been able to do it, but I think that would have came out best. Hey, Timmer, what's going on? Dang it. Oh, it's that time up there. Time to tip on that rum. I guess that's a good thing that Shelby's not here because when you guys drink, it makes her want to drink. And she would still try to drink even though she doesn't feel good. It's also good that she can't hear me and she's not watching because I'd probably get scolded for something I said. Timmer, you're the audio guy. How does it sound in comparison to normal? Yeah, she probably could use some rum. The problem is, then she'll be saying drunk again, and then not feeling good because of that. I guess that's a good way to confuse your body to know if you don't feel good because of the booze or if you don't feel good because you're actually sick. It's a little tinny. I am using headphones, so they're not, in all honesty, probably not the best headphones I could be using. I have headphones in. Um, I still haven't ordered the overhead mic. It would be nice to have it, but also, um, 6 people. I had 7 at one time. That's the most I've had all day. Um, and I've been going for about 2 hours, so I'm able to listen to music doing this. I guess I could have a mic and listen to music. But now knowing that this works decent, I'll be able to purchase a little mic on Amazon that I've been looking at. Gives me another reason to buy something I don't need. Oh, I don't know why I'm taking a photo because there's no sheet on there. That avoid Tamer. Be a team player. Drink for everyone else. My issue is if I start drinking, I'll get drunk and I'll start messing up these signs. And then I have to explain to the customer why the black is all in the wrong spots, and then still not refund them because obviously that's money out of my pocket. Oh, I got 20% on my phone. Oh, I wish I could say that was the same. Um, this isn't muscle memory yet, so that's why I feel like uh, I will screw multiple things up if I have too many. Because once that switch is turned on, it ain't turning off. I'm hoping this year we'll do the Christmas live stream, Christmas Eve live stream again. I get out of work at um, 8:30, 9 o'clock. My family doesn't really do anything too crazy on Christmas, but I do like to actually spend time at their house. Um, so we might end up on a basement live stream that's not in the little studio area where we're all getting drunk like we did last year. Because our Christmas this year is overall going to be smaller because I asked for money for my Columbia trip. Shelby, we have a great gift for her, or me and um, her parents got her some good things. I got her some good things. Um, but I just asked for money, so it's not. Timmer, I guess I don't know what you do that you would be armed. I mean, you don't have to say it in the chat if it's something that you don't have to. You're probably one of those horse mounties riding through the woods, or you're the Canadian version of DNR that we always talk shit about on Charlie the Plumber. Time to change his blade out because this thing's starting to suck. Well, maybe we'll chat on Instagram about it because I'm curious now. You piqued my interest. And you know what? What's your boss know? He doesn't need to tell you how to do your job. Just go ahead. Next time, just say that Zach from Small Town Laser Creations said you could have a cocktail or two if you needed to. Ow! Watch out, that blade's sharp. Yes, CTP is at Shady right now. He went up, unfortunately, early this morning. He actually, he might have left. I don't know. I don't remember what day, but I think it was this morning. No, I think it was yesterday. It was yesterday he headed out because he was sitting in his blind and he was coming up with harebrained ideas. Normally, when he's in his blind and he's lonely, he starts thinking a lot. And when he thinks, sometimes it's not a good idea. I think the idea he came up with could be a future video. I thought it was something he was trying to full time make extra money doing, and it would have been just like his T-shirt idea. And looking back on that, I hate that idea. Yeah, that's how he came up with the idea of cooking in his blind. He's been cooking in his blind for uh, probably since I was 14. We've been making pizza rolls and blah blah blah. And normally, when his mind's sitting there, he's got the boredom going, and he's coming up with new, bigger, better ideas for stuff that he doesn't need to come up with ideas for. I will say though, it's a good thing he's a plumber because there's no way he could be an electrician. I'm good at what I'm good at, which is electronics and random stupid shit I find on the internet. He came down here, we wired up these lights, put some plugs in the ceiling. He put the switch over there at the bottom of the stairs. Great, all looked good. But then I realized now, after a couple of weeks of using it, that my bathroom's turning yellow because when we flip off that switch, these lights turn off. But then it turns off power to my laptop or my computer, and then it turns off my hot water or my water softener. So my water softener hasn't run for um, a couple months because it doesn't get to the cycle point. Don't get me wrong, I was here when he wired it, but I didn't even think of it, and obviously he didn't either. But he's the brains, I'm just the brawn. Right, Timmer? Oh. Hey, Joe, what's going on? Uh, yes, I would agree. Goalies are a different breed. No, he lost it. He dropped the um, 3/4 of a half gallon of captain on the ground, and it shattered all over the barn floor. I think if we were to see the security cameras in the barn, you would see him run to his office, grab a McDonald's straw from a cup that's 6 weeks old, and him laying on the ground trying to slurp up what he can salvage. Yeah, I've done a couple today. Did this one? It's not adhered yet because that's going to be tomorrow's project. I did a Eastern Kentucky one, also not adhered yet, but and now I'm working on a Michigan Tech football helmet. He normally does get plastic because the boat he calls them boater bottles because you don't want that glass to shatter and go into the water. So and I can't say it's probably an old bottle because I don't think there's such thing at his house as an old bottle of booze. By this time, he should be sponsored. Captain Morgan and Bush Latte. Imagine if Charlie the Plumber's YouTube channel was sponsored by Bush Latte. Hey Timmer, have you ever heard about the FPHL? It's the Federal League. It's not, obviously, it's a low professional league. Um, Low as in they make $125 a week, but that's some good cheap hockey to go watch. Tickets are $17 to go to the game. Booze is kind of expensive in my opinion. Um, I go to professional games and you're paying $9. When you go to these games, you're paying $6. Um, but that's good hockey to watch. We'll get about, well, let me rephrase that. Good hockey. It's um it's old school hockey. A lot of fighting. Dang it. Yeah, he's been tipping those bottles upside down for longer than I've been alive. He doesn't get the flu. It's always just the straight up brown bottle flu. It's sad that I know he's not shooting deer. I don't think he's seen anything. He should be in here just chatting. He should be, or he's probably just getting out of the woods. It's getting past legal shooting hours. Legal shooting hours. What'd they have to say, Eric? See, I probably should have cleaned the lens after cutting the black. That looks dirty, like Joe. Mr. Badass called and said, "Yeah, I know this drunk guy." They said, "Oh, Charlie the plumber. He's in here all the time." Eric, they haven't talked to someone in months. That's the first phone call they've got in who knows how long. I'm not a huge fan of the whole talking on the phone for too long. I get my buddy that lives in Austin. He has an hour drive home from work every couple days when he has to go in, and he'll call and we'll just go back and forth about nothing. And then he gets home and he says, "I gotta go." Black. There we are. I think, in all honesty, Eric or Mr. Badass, I think, or not Mr. Badass, Timmer. I think that's part of the whole up north UP experience. The more locals you know, the better off you are. Our buddy that has Lucky Four Lodge or the Lucky Four camp, he knows everyone. So we go up there, and over the years, we know everyone by association. Oh, so I got one layer left to cut with this one. And then I'll probably call it good on cutting for tonight because the next ones are all the same exact logo over and over and over. And I don't want to cut the parts and lose them. Oh no, the cities now. Um, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm only 31, but people just don't help each other. Up there, it's like, "Oh, Joe, you know how to weld? I'm looking to get this sauna made." He'll come over. He'll weld him a sauna. Same shit that he could sell for $500-600 online if he wanted to. Down here, it's good to know people, but 9 chances out of 10 these days you're not getting help back from them. It's a one-way favor street. The only reason this one sucks is because it takes forever to put everything back in there. But then it comes out the best looking. This is what I was talking about earlier. Is you should always have your laser working while while you're doing extra stuff. I should be having this thing cut, but since I'm not doing much more and the next cut's tiny, I'm not losing any productivity. Oh, okay. I got small other pieces around here. Is that everything? So now I just have to cut yellow. Timmer, I got my passport now. I can come up and drink beers. Yeah, I would for sure be in. I've said before I'm not much of a hunter, but I do like to drink. Um, and I think CTP said it good the other day. He's not a guy that knows a ton about guns, but he enjoys the sport because it's something he's been doing for 40 plus years. But yeah, we're more than in to come up. His passport's still good. Obviously, I think we've talked about it, but not knowing the dates of your season, um, for us, it's October is probably the best month. Oh, well, fishing would be cool too. Actually, I would think I would be more into fishing on like ice fishing, just because for me, I can skate and blah 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 when there's no fish being caught. But um, it would definitely be, I'd definitely be into that too. Um, yes, it's your daughter is going to obviously, you already know, but your daughter is going to experience, if she's specifically from the farmland or the country per se, it's going to be a big adjustment. I've grown up more in the city per se, not comparatively like Shelby. Um, I mean, it's hard to grow up in city and not have some sort of knowledge when CTP is your old man. Um, he is an old redneck, so I've learned a lot of shit from him, and it's hard to not have that information, even if I am from more of a city area. I'm pretty sure he's open to anything. I'm also open to anything. um, the It's more just about finding the time when we're all free. I wonder. This might be a really stupid question. Um, would they charge us to bring up a um, four wheeler up to your place or into Canada? I guess I should say. There's this one. This one will end up being all the brown will be black, and obviously you can see the white and the yellow elsewhere. And how many hours have I been going for? Uh, 3 hours. I got 3 signs done, which in my opinion is not terrible. Um, at the end of the day, the profit is probably 45, um, $45 a sign is about what you make, and so you're looking at $45 an hour, which for me is a lot more than I make doing my actual job. This is just um, you have to have the clients. Problem is, I doubt he has any of that paperwork to show that he owns it. It's been the 2002 ish, and he bought it brand new. This was our most recent purchase, which I got to get hanging on the wall somewhere. A big ass thing of bubble, which I think the description said it was 2 rolls. This looks like it's 1 roll. Oh no, it might be two. Split down the middle. Yeah, it's two. Um, well, 6:25. I'm gonna go talk to a man about a horse and see if Shelby's still alive and well. Um, everyone watching, thank you for watching. I'm hoping to do this more of a weekly Thursday regular thing. Looked like today more people joined later in the afternoon. Um, um, so it's probably going to be about 4 o'clock when I start. So then they're about 2 hours, maybe 4:30. 4:30 to 6:30 still gives me time at the end of the night. Um, yeah, it's going to be more. I wouldn't say a pony. I would say a squatty potty is what I'm going to go visit. Um, so thank you guys for watching. If you're new here, go ahead, hit that subscribe button down in this corner. Nope, this corner. Um, and like I said, 4:30 to 6:30, 4 to 7, something like that is what I'm going to try to do this. Once a week on Thursdays when it's my off day, or whatever my off day is. I know I got a couple weeks where it's Monday, Tuesday before Christmas. So, guys, talk to you later. Kimmer, Mr. Badass, anyone else that's in here, we'll see you. See you guys Tuesday.